Hi, this is Pranay Sharma, and in these series of videos we'll be learning the basics of Excel. Now Excel is a part of Microsoft Office. In this video we'll just take a basic introduction. Now usually it is recommended that you should have Excel 2013 or more, but Excel versions before will also work almost the same way. There are some changes, but very minute changes. Obviously, if you have the latest Excel, that would always work. I am working with Excel 2013. Now, whenever you open Excel, you will have so many different options, pre-made options, but we'll today look at blank workbook only. In a workbook, we can have multiple sheets. If you see here on your bottom right, you will find sheet 1. Similarly, you can add up multiple sheets. Here plus sign gives us new sheet. If I click it here, it's saying sheet 4 because I've already deleted sheet 2 and sheet 3. So therefore it is showing sheet 4, then sheet 5 and so on. Now you can rename those sheets. If you right click on a particular sheet, you can rename them. Okay, I can say this is 2, this is 3. So you would know what is in those particular sheet. Now similar to a notebook, we can have multiple pages. These are basically multiple sheets that we have in a workbook of Excel file. Now we don't need any of these, so I'll right click and I'll press delete. We don't need it right now, so I'll just delete it. We can copy, paste, move, a lot of different things. Right now I just need to work on one single sheet. Then on the bottom right, you will find that you have a zoom bar here. You can zoom to very large values. I prefer while using it as 100 because this is good enough for me. But while I am making videos, I prefer keeping it as 130 because it is easier to watch. Now let's talk about what is inside these sheets. These are nothing but cells. You can see I'm clicking and I'm getting a particular rectangular box. This is nothing but a cell. Now each cell is named according to its column and its row where it is landing. So this particular cell will be called as D7. You can see D is highlighted here and 7 is highlighted here. And here you can find its name. This is called as a name box. So you can see in the name box, this is D7. If I click here, I get G2. If I click here, I get C10, and similarly these are nothing but cells. I don't know the limit for the number of cells that we can have in a particular sheet. We have a lot of rows and we have a lot of columns. I can go on. If I keep on pressing my side arrow, you can see I can keep on going and it is still giving me a lot of different columns. You can figure out how many there are. We generally don't use so many different columns. And you can go down and you will find a lot of rows as well. Okay, depending on newer Excel, you will find that you have different number of rows and columns in it. Anyways, we don't use that many rows or columns. Okay. So in a particular cell, let's say the C5, we can put values. We can have numerical values and we can have some words as well. Now let's first talk about numerical values. So if I say my C5, I can say C5 is 1000. Now this particular cell has a value 1000. You can see this here we have a formula bar. You can write your values here or you can directly write it here. Okay. And whenever you are editing a particular cell, you just start typing on it and then all you do is press enter. Okay. If you press escape, it will not do whatever you are going to do. So like if I press 150 here and if I press escape, it will clear that cell. Okay. So let's say I want to change this and I start writing 2000, and if I say no, I want my value back, I'll press escape and I'll still get 1550. So enter and escape, these are the two things that we use a lot. Now if I want this C5 value somewhere else, let's say in my E8 value. So what we can do is we can use equal to. Whenever we use equal to, it says that we are using some kind of a function. We'll talk more about functions later on. First, I just want to show you how we use the name of that particular cell. Now I want the value of C5. So I'll say equal to and I'll write C5. Now as soon as I write C5, you can see that the C5 is now in blue and there's a blue box around C5. So I can press enter and you can see now I have 1000 here as well. Now if I change this C5 to 2000 and I press enter, as soon as I press enter, you'll see that my E8 has also been changed to 2000 because now these two cells are linked. My E8, if I press here, you will see on this function bar, it is formula bar, it is nothing but equal to C5. Now these names are not case sensitive. So if I write small c, it will still take it as capital C. It knows where we are talking about. Okay. Now a particular cell, we can change the name. So here, instead of C5, I can write this as my income. Okay, I am writing it as income. And if I say here, I press equal to and I write income. As soon as I write income, you can see that it is written in blue right now and my C5 has been highlighted again. Okay, so because it knows that the name income is nothing but of C5. But this works only if I am writing is equal to. I am saying to the Excel that I am writing a particular formula. If I just write income, it will just treat it as income, nothing else. It is just a word. If I write C5, it will just treat it as a word, nothing else. But if I press equal to income, you can see now again C5 is highlighted, or I can use it as C5 as well. So equal to C5. As soon as I write C5, you can see C5 has been highlighted and I press enter. Okay, so even though I have now named this box as income, you can see here you have income written. Still, I can use it as C5 because its designation is C5. Okay. So this becomes nothing but the name of a particular cell. You can write words, you can write numbers. You can use numbers and equate it to some other cell. Now, if I just change this 2000 to, let's say, 2500, you can see everywhere it has changed to 2500 wherever we have linked it. So this way, if we update a particular cell, it will automatically update every other cell that is linked to this particular cell. Now we can also use our normal mathematical formulas. Like here, if I say I want equal to my this 2500 plus 1550. So I'll just write the cell numbers. So I'll say C5. You can directly select as well. So I can say C5 plus, and if I select this, now I am just selecting this F5. Selected this and I press enter. And you can see the color coding was blue and red. So you know which one is which just by looking at those colors. I'll do it again. If I say I want equal to my C5, I've typed my C5 and I'll just select my this F5 here. If I press this F5, you can see that F5 was in red, C5 was in blue. I press enter and we get this value. Again, if I change a particular value, I change F5 to 1000. You can see these two values were linked to F5 and that is why they have changed. So similarly, Excel is used to do a lot of mathematical formulas. You use a lot of mathematical formulas, but usually in the form of tables. Now why in tables? Because of one particular function. What function am I talking about? That is a drag function. Now if you take your mouse cursor to this bottom right of a particular cell or whatever selected. See here, as soon as I take to the bottom right, I get a black plus sign. If I click it and drag it down, select and drag, and you can see all those values are now 2500, right? All those values are now 2500. Now not only that, we can have sequences as well. If I say I have 1000, then I have 900, then I have 800. We just need 2 for a sequence, so I will just take 1000 and 900. I'll select both. For selecting, just do not go towards the bottom right. Other than that, just select, just click anywhere and then drag it down. So I've selected these two. Now I will go to the bottom right and I will drag it down, and you can see because I was subtracting 100 each time, it went down to 0 and then negative values. Okay, so we have these particular values. Now similarly, I can add these two. I can say equal to. Whenever we are using some kind of a function, we have to start with equal to. So equal to, I will say my B5. So I just select my B5 and then I'll say plus and my C5 and I press equal to. Let's say this is my expense. Instead of expense, I'll say income 1 and this is my income 2, and I'll say this is nothing but total. Now here I have said B5 plus, because I had renamed this as income, that is why it has taken it as income. Now I do not want it as income. Okay, I want it as C5. So I will remove this and I'll type C5. Okay. Now why is that? Because I will drag this down. Now again, you can see all I'm doing is going towards the bottom right and I'm dragging it down till here. You can see each value is now different. Why? Because it is adding our corresponding values. If I go to any particular cell, if you look at the formula bar, you will find that even though we wrote the formula as B5 plus C5, now we have B10 plus C10 here, right? B10 plus C10. That is because when we drag it down, it correspondingly changes each values. Because in this particular cell, we had 5 and 5. Here we'll get 6 and 6. Here we'll get 7, 7. Here we'll get 8, 8, and so on. Correspondingly, it is changing each one as we go on. Okay. So we can use our tables and we can do whatever mathematical function on the first one and then drag it down to complete the whole table. So it becomes very easy for such kind of mathematical formulas over a particular table. Now this works on horizontal lines as well. If I just drag it horizontally, you will see it is giving me different values. Now these values are increasing very rapidly because each one is adding the previous two. Here you can see we have D5, E5. Okay, so again here we had B and C, but when I pull it horizontally or drag it horizontally, the next one would be C and D, next would be D and E, next would be E and F, because horizontally it changes each column, whereas vertically it changes each rows. Okay, so it is relatively keeping our formula exactly same with the relative cells. Okay, so we very rarely use horizontal dragging, but it works as well. Okay, so I'm deleting that. Okay, I'll just delete these particular terms. Now these series work very easily. If I write 1, 2 and then I select these two and then I'll select these two and go to our bottom right and then drag, you can see that each value is selected. As we go on dragging, you will see that there is a small box near our last value, and it shows us our last value. See, 44. Next, if I go down, I will have 45. Next, 46. So we can see which value are we going to. Okay, I can drag this very fast and see I am somewhere between 295 now. So if I leave my click, you will see 295. So these are all the series from 1 to 295. We can have any other difference as well. Like here we had 100 and 1000 and then 900. So when I drag down, every single value was 100 less than the previous one. I can have, let's say, 0 and then 0.5, and if I drag them down, I will have a difference of 0.5 in each one of them. Similarly, I can have some other things as well. Now, series does not just work on numbers, but also on some pre-made series like days. So if I write Monday, it will recognize that it is day of a week. And if I drag it down, you can see Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. Similarly, it works for date as well. So if I write 01-01-20, it will recognize it as a date. Okay, and it has already made it 2020. And if I drag it down, you will see that it will change the date. You can see 02, 03, 04, and so on. Similarly, if I keep a difference of, let's say, 7 days. So my first date is this, my second date I will say is 08-01-20. So you would see that the difference is of 1 week, and as I drag it down, it will give me a difference of 1 week in each of those particular dates. I can have difference of 1 month as well. So I can say 01-01-20, and I'll have 02, not 02, I'll have 01-02-20. You can have a difference of as much as you want, and it will figure out and give you equal type of values. Similarly, you can have months. You can write January, and then just select and drag. You will get all months. If you see here that in September, November, we are not getting all the values because the cell has limit and it is going beyond that limit, and we already have some values in H. If you want all the values to be shown, what you do is just go towards the middle part of this G and H. You can see here, as soon as I go towards the middle part, I have a different kinds of a symbol. And if I just double click there, it will make G long enough to show all of the values written here. So I can write, see, I'll write these long values, okay, and if I press enter, it will be shown to me, but that is mainly because there is no value here at H. If I write 0 here, you can see that all the values have gone away. Now if I want that all values of G should be shown to me, I'll go again here middle and I'll double click, and you can see it made the G cell wide enough to show all the possible values. And just press undo to get back to this. Now this not only works on our full letters, but I can just write MON and it recognizes this must be Monday, and if I drag it down, you can see it can start from anywhere in between. I can say AUG August, and if I drag it down, you can see it recognizes what series are we talking about. So this was our basic. In the next video, I'll be talking about how to use our function formula bar and what are the different formulas that we can see.